The endless black of space stretched like an ocean without end. Stars glittered like cold diamonds, and silence ruled everything. In that silence, a fleet of alien warships moved with pride. Their hulls shined with sharp metal edges. Their weapons glowed with power. This was the Valkyrie Empire, one of the most feared powers in the galaxy. Wherever their fleet passed, other species bowed their heads. The alien commanders stood inside their massive flagship, watching their scanners. Everything looked quiet in this sector. No threat, no enemy, just the routine patrol. To them, this part of space was only a border, safe, calm, and useless. But suddenly, a soft alarm blinked on their consoles. Unidentified ship detected, one officer reported. The commander raised his ridged head. His 4 eyes narrowed. "Show me." The screen lit up with the image of a small vessel. It was old. Its hull was scratched and dented. Its engines burned weakly, like an old torch. Compared to the shining alien fleet, this ship looked like trash floating in the void. One of the alien officers laughed. His laugh was sharp and cruel. "It is a human ship," he said. "Pathetic. How dare they send this garbage into our space?" Another officer joined in. "Humans are always weak. They hide in their colonies, pretending to be brave. But this is not even a warship. It is an insult." The alien commander gave a long, cold smile. "Yes. They think we will waste our time on such a fragile thing. Look at its weapons, barely functional. Look at its engines, it cannot even outrun a fighter." Across the fleet, the news spread quickly. Communication channels filled with mocking voices. Soldiers laughed. Captains insulted. Some even made jokes that the humans must have built the ship with spare metal from junkyards. But in the middle of all that laughter, the small human ship did not react. No distress signal, no defensive move, not even a simple transmission. It only drifted silently in the dark. The alien commander tilted his head. "Strange," he said. "Why do they not speak? Why do they not run?" One of his officers replied, "Maybe they are already dead inside. Maybe this is a ghost ship." The commander considered this, then waved his hand. "No matter. We will take it as a trophy. Send a boarding team. Let the soldiers have their fun." The alien soldiers prepared quickly. Their armor was heavy, their weapons sharp. They joked and laughed as they entered the boarding pods. To them, this was no mission. This was entertainment. The boarding pods launched, small and fast, cutting through the emptiness toward the human vessel. From the flagship's view, the human ship looked still, lifeless. Like an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. When the soldiers reached the hull, they attached magnetic clamps. They drilled through the weak metal and entered. Their helmet cameras transmitted the view back to the alien fleet. Everyone wanted to see the humiliation of humans. Inside, it was dark. Very dark. The flashlights of the soldiers cut through the shadows, but the air felt heavy. The walls looked cold, silent, almost waiting. "Nothing here," one soldier laughed. "This is empty. Maybe the humans sent a broken ship into space. What a waste." Another soldier kicked a wall panel. Dust floated up in zero gravity. So fragile. So weak. But then, something strange happened. The helmet camera of one soldier began to flicker. The image blurred, static lines appeared. His voice came through the comms, confused. "Wait, what is this? Something moving." And then, silence. The fleet watching from their screens saw only black. His camera was dead. "What happened?" an officer demanded. Another soldier's camera showed panic. "We lost him. He just vanished." The alien commander frowned. His laughter faded. "Impossible. Humans cannot." But before he could finish, another helmet camera turned black. Then another. One by one, the soldiers lost contact. Their voices filled with fear for just a second, then silence. Total silence. Inside the human ship, something was awake. The alien fleet no longer laughed. They stared at their screens, confused and uneasy. "What is wrong with that ship?" one officer whispered. The commander's hands tightened on the edge of his chair. His pride fought with his fear. For centuries, the Valkyrie Empire had crushed every enemy. They had mocked every weak species. And humans, they were the weakest of all. That was the story the galaxy believed. Yet here, in the cold silence of space, one human ship stood without fear. And it was not speaking. It was waiting. The alien commander's eyes narrowed. For the first time, doubt touched his voice. "Recall the soldiers," he ordered. But the order came too late. The last soldier's voice cracked through the comm. His scream echoed in every ship of the fleet. "They are not weak. They are not weak at all." And then, silence again. The alien fleet floated in shock. The human vessel, broken and old on the outside, still hung silently in the dark. No weapons fired. No engines moved. It only waited. And the aliens, who once laughed, now stared with unease. The arrival of the human ship was no accident. It was the beginning of something far more dangerous. Something the galaxy was not ready for. The Valkyrie fleet floated like a wall of steel in the dark. The alien warships, sharp and proud, had always been a symbol of fear. They had crushed entire colonies, burned countless worlds, and forced weaker races into silence. To them, victory was not a question, it was a tradition. And so, when they saw the human vessel standing still after the loss of their boarding team, their first reaction was not fear. It was anger. Inside the flagship, Commander Veya's voice echoed through the command chamber. His 4 eyes blazed. "Humans think they can hide tricks inside an old ship. They dare to take our soldiers. We will make them pay." Officers around him hissed in agreement. Their laughter had returned, sharper than before. "They probably filled the ship with cheap traps," one said. "Nothing serious. Just human desperation." Another officer added, "Yes. Their kind always fights like vermin. Small tricks, nothing more. They cannot face us in open battle." The commander raised his hand, silencing them. "Then let us show them what battle truly means. Prepare another team. Twice the size. Heavier weapons. We will tear this fragile vessel apart from the inside." The soldiers who heard the order laughed cruelly. They were eager for revenge. To them, the humans were insects pretending to bite. Insects deserved to be crushed. Across the fleet, open communication channels carried mocking words. Dozens of alien captains broadcast their scorn, ensuring that every ship, every soldier, could hear. "This is the strength of humans," a captain sneered. "A silent, broken ship. Do they expect us to fear shadows?" Another voice joined. "Perhaps they want us to believe it is a ghost. Or maybe it is only a human toy, lost in space. Weak creatures, weak ships, weak minds." The laughter of hundreds of voices filled the airwaves. The galaxy had often called humans reckless dreamers. Now, to the aliens, this was the ultimate proof. Yet still, the human vessel remained silent. No reply. No defense. No movement. It was almost as if it listened. The new boarding teams launched. Twice as many pods, twice as many soldiers. Their armor was darker, heavier, built for destruction. They carried plasma rifles capable of melting stone, grenades that could split walls, and cutting torches to slice through any barrier. When they drilled into the hull, sparks rained in zero gravity. Again, the soldiers entered. Again, the cameras transmitted back to the fleet. The corridors of the human vessel were the same, dark, silent, lifeless. Dust floated in the thin air. The lights flickered dimly, like candles almost dead. "See," one soldier mocked, his voice carrying to every alien screen. "Nothing but shadows. Our brothers before us were careless. They let fear blind them. We will not." Another soldier slammed his boot against the wall. "Weak metal. Weak construction. This ship is a coffin, not a weapon." Their words caused more laughter across the fleet. Commanders, officers, and soldiers all joined the chorus. They called humans cowards, liars, and fools. But deep inside the ship, the shadows stirred again. The helmet camera of one soldier suddenly caught movement. A dark shape slid across the corridor, too fast to see clearly. The soldier stopped, confused. What was? Static burst across his camera. Then black. "Not again," another soldier muttered, raising his rifle. "Stay alert." The laughter across the fleet grew louder. "Do you see? They tremble at shadows." But one by one, the cameras flickered. Voices broke into static. Screams echoed for a second, then were cut short. On the flagship, silence began to creep into the command chamber. The laughter faded. The mocking voices quieted. Another camera died. Then another. Commander Veya gripped the edge of his chair. His mind, sharp and cruel, tried to explain what he saw. But every explanation failed. The humans could not have such power. They could not. And yet, the evidence was before his eyes. The final camera showed a soldier running through a corridor, his breath heavy. Something is here. It is watching us. The feed went black. Total silence. For the second time, an entire boarding team had been erased. No bodies returned. No signals left. The alien fleet was quiet now. No more laughter, no more insults. Only unease. One officer spoke, his voice low. "Commander, what if this ship is not what it seems?" Vaya's eyes narrowed. Pride fought against fear inside him. Nonsense. Humans are weak. They are always weak. But his words lacked the strength they once carried. The human vessel still floated before them. Old. Broken. Silent. And yet, in its silence, it mocked them far more than they had mocked it. For the first time, the mighty Vakari fleet began to feel something unfamiliar. Doubt. The Vakari fleet hung in silence. Rows of alien warships floated like dark blades, their glowing engines the only light against the black ocean of space. But their pride had cracked. Twice, their soldiers had entered the human vessel. Twice, they had vanished without a trace. No screams remained, no signals, nothing. The mighty Vakari, who had crushed 100 races, could not understand what they had just faced. Commander Vaya sat rigid in his command chair. His claws scraped the armrest. He wanted to roar, to demand answers, but even he felt the weight of the silence. The human ship still hung before them. Old. Broken. Harmless. At least, that was what it should have been. But now it felt different. One officer finally broke the quiet. His voice trembled. "Commander, maybe we should destroy it. From a distance." Vaya's eyes burned. "Do you suggest we fear humans?" "No, Commander," the officer said quickly, lowering his head. "But whatever is inside, it is not normal." Vaya's lip curled. "It is a machine. A fragile human trick. We are Vakari, we do not fear toys." But as he spoke, the sensors lit up with strange signals. "Commander," another officer cried out. Energy surged from the human vessel. Every eye turned to the main screen. For the first time, the old ship began to glow. Faint lines appeared across its hull, patterns of blue light crawling like veins under skin. The ship that had looked dead was now pulsing with hidden energy. "This is impossible," one officer whispered. "Their technology is centuries behind ours." The scanners screamed with confusion. Readings jumped and broke. Weapon systems, shields, engines, everything registered but at levels no alien computer could understand. "It is rewriting itself," another officer said in disbelief. "Like it is, alive." The fleet murmured in fear. The silence turned heavy, pressing on every chest. Then, the voice came. Soft at first. Cold. Human, but not human. A voice made of machine and mind, echoing through every alien comm channel at once. "You should not have come here." The words froze the fleet. Officers stared at one another. Soldiers shivered inside their armor. Even Commander Vaya's heart missed a beat. The voice repeated, stronger now. "You entered without permission. You mocked. You laughed. Now, you will learn." "Shut it down," an officer shouted, his claws flying over the controls. "Cut the signal." But nothing worked. The voice continued, clear and calm. "For centuries, you called humans weak. You called them fragile. You believed your strength was eternal. But you were wrong." Vaya slammed his fist against his chair. "Enough. Fire on that ship. Now." The order echoed across the fleet. Cannons powered up, energy cores hummed, and massive beams of plasma shot out into the void. The human ship vanished in light. Explosions wrapped around it, fire spread, and for a moment, the Vakari fleet cheered. But then, the fire cleared. The human ship was still there, untouched. Its hull shined with the same glowing blue lines, stronger than before. The weapons had done nothing. "No damage detected," a terrified officer reported. The alien fleet's laughter died instantly. And then, the human ship moved. Its engines, once weak, now burned bright. Its shape shifted slightly, as if the metal itself was alive. On the scanners, the readings climbed higher and higher, until the numbers made no sense at all. One officer whispered, This is not a warship. This is something else." The human voice returned. "You wanted a trophy. Instead, you found a nightmare. Suddenly, alarm screamed across the alien fleet. Systems malfunctioned. Weapons jammed. Shields flickered and died. What is happening? Officers cried out. The human ship had released a wave of energy, silent, invisible, unstoppable. Every alien computer that touched it began to fail. Their proud technology was nothing now, just metal husks. Commander Vaya roared, "All ships, regroup. Form a wall." But his voice was drowned by panic. Across the fleet, captains shouted, soldiers screamed, officers begged for answers. And still, the human ship waited, glowing in the dark. Its voice came one last time, slow and calm, like a predator speaking to prey. "You should not have laughed." The screen dimmed. The silence returned. But now, it was no longer the silence of space. It was the silence of fear. The Valkyrie fleet tried to hold formation. Hundreds of alien warships moved into position, their engines burning bright against the black void. But inside every ship, fear whispered. The human vessel had survived their most powerful attack without a single scratch. Commander Vaya barked orders across the command channel. His voice was sharp, heavy with anger. "All ships, target that vessel again. Focus fire. We will break it apart piece by piece." "Yes, Commander," officers replied, though their voices lacked confidence. The mighty alien fleet powered their weapons. Beams of energy lit the dark like storms of fire. Missiles launched in streams, chasing their target with deadly precision. Explosions filled the void around the human ship. For a moment, the fleet thought victory was near. Fire consumed the old vessel. Light swallowed its fragile hull. But when the glow faded, the human ship still remained. Its strange blue lines pulsed brighter now, as if it had absorbed the attack. The hull shimmered with a glow the Valkyrie scanners could not understand. "No damage detected," one officer whispered, his voice almost broken. Then it happened. The human vessel fired. Not many weapons, not dozens of beams, not a storm of missiles. Just one single burst of light. A thin, sharp lance of energy shot forward, silent and precise. It struck the nearest Valkyrie cruiser. The cruiser did not explode slowly. It did not crumble. It simply vanished, wiped from existence in a single flash. 1 second it was there, proud and strong, and the next it was dust. The entire fleet froze. "Impossible," Commander Vaya growled, his 4 eyes wide. "No weapon has such power." Panic spread through the ranks. Some ships began to break formation. Others shouted on the comms, their voices shaking. "What kind of weapon is that? One shot destroyed a cruiser. This is no human technology." The human ship pulsed again, glowing brighter, alive with energy. Another beam fired. Another alien ship vanished. No wreckage. No survivors. Only silence. "Shields up. Full power." Vaya screamed. "Do not let it target you." But shields failed the moment the energy touched them. Every defense the Valkyrie had relied upon for centuries meant nothing. The human vessel fired again. Another ship disappeared. The Valkyrie had come to mock, to laugh, to play with a weak enemy. Now they were prey. The alien fleet scrambled. Some tried to retreat, pushing their engines to maximum speed. Others fired blindly, desperate to hit something, anything. But no matter how much firepower they released, nothing touched the human vessel. It moved slowly, calmly, as if it had all the time in the world. The alien flagship shook as alarm screamed. Officers reported one disaster after another. Missiles jammed. Weapons offline. "Our shields are collapsing." The commander roared in fury. "No! Hold your ground. We are Valkyrie, we do not run from insects." But in the eyes of his officers, he saw it, fear. The kind of fear no speech could erase. On the main screen, the human ship grew larger. Its old, broken hull now looked like the mask of a predator. The blue lines across its surface pulsed like veins, glowing brighter with every second. The voice returned, calm and cold, echoing in every alien ear. "You came to hunt. But the trap has closed." The fleet trembled. A wave of energy rippled out from the human vessel. Invisible, silent, but unstoppable. The alien warships shook as systems crashed. Engines flickered out. Weapons died. Lights dimmed. The Valkyrie fleet, once a storm of power, was now helpless metal floating in the dark. One by one, ships were erased by the human weapon. Each strike was clean, merciless. A fleet that had once mocked now screamed in terror. Inside the flagship, officers shouted over one another. "We cannot fight this. It is not possible. This ship is death itself." Vaya's claws dug into the command chair. His voice dropped low, filled with rage and disbelief. "No, this is not human. This cannot be human." But deep inside, he knew the truth. The humans had built something different. Something the galaxy had never seen. Something the Valkyrie had never prepared for. The commander stared at the glowing vessel, his pride breaking under the weight of dread. For centuries, his people had laughed at humans. Now he understood the terrible mistake. The human ship pulsed one last time, its energy spreading like the heartbeat of a predator. The voice whispered again, quiet but final. "We let you laugh. Now, you will scream." And with that, another Valkyrie ship vanished into nothingness. The trap had closed. The Valkyrie fleet was breaking. Once, their ships had flown in perfect formation, an iron wall that no enemy could stand against. But now, they scattered like frightened insects. Cruisers twisted through space in random directions, battleships fired wildly at shadows, and smaller vessels tried to flee with engines burning at maximum speed. Fear had destroyed their order. And in the middle of it all, the human ship moved slowly, calmly, patiently. Its glowing blue lines pulsed like a steady heartbeat. With every beat, another Valkyrie ship was erased from existence. One shot. One kill. No wreckage. No survivors. Inside the alien flagship, chaos ruled. Officers screamed over each other, trying to explain failures. "Our weapons are useless. Our shields collapse the moment it fires. The fleet is being slaughtered." Commander Vaya slammed his clawed fist against his chair. "Stop running. Hold your ground," he roared. But his words carried no weight now. Pride could not shield them. Discipline could not save them. On the main screen, the human vessel glided forward, its single eye of light glowing brighter. It did not rush. It did not chase. It simply appeared again and again in front of fleeing ships, blocking their escape. Whenever a ship tried to jump to warp, its engines failed. Whenever they fired missiles, the weapons turned dead in space. Every attempt to resist ended the same way, with silence, then erasure. The alien fleet, once 100 strong, was being cut down one by one. A heavy cruiser tried to retreat, firing every weapon in desperation. Dozens of beams and missiles lit the void, but the human ship vanished. For a heartbeat, it was gone. And then, it appeared again. Right in front of the cruiser's bow. The cruiser never had time to scream. A single lance of human energy cut across its hull, and the ship disappeared in a flash of white. The Valkyrie soldiers watching screamed in terror. Some begged their commanders for orders. Others begged for mercy. But mercy never came. The human voice returned, echoing cold and merciless through every comm channel. "You called us fragile. You called us prey. Do you feel fragile now?" The words stabbed deeper than any weapon. On the screens, another battleship fell. Then another. Whole wings of fighters tried to swarm the human ship, hoping to distract it. But the moment they closed in, their engines failed. Their weapons locked. Their systems went black. The fighters drifted helplessly, like broken toys. One by one, they were erased by short, sharp beams of light. "They are hunting us," one officer whispered, his voice broken. "No," another corrected, trembling. "They are playing with us." Commander Vaya's jaws clenched. His pride screamed at him to keep fighting, but even he could not deny what his eyes saw. Every tactic, every weapon, every formation, nothing worked. The human ship was not just a warship. It was something far beyond. On the main screen, the vessel pulsed again. For a moment, its old, broken hull shimmered and shifted, like the mask of a predator revealing sharp teeth. The voice spoke once more. "We let you mock. We let you laugh. But every laugh feeds the fear that comes after." The Valkyrie fleet was dying, and still the ship was calm. Still it did not rush. It hunted as if it had all eternity. The aliens realized the nightmare too late. They had laughed at humans, called them weak, fragile, useless. But now, the laughter was gone. Now there was only fear. The fleet shrank with every passing moment. Dozens of ships became half a dozen. Half a dozen became 3. 3 became 2. Every alien who watched knew the truth. This was no battle. This was an execution. Inside the flagship, the command chamber was filled with silence. Even the officers stopped shouting. Even Commander Vaya sat frozen. The human vessel hung before them, glowing in the dark. And then, slowly, it turned its single beam toward the flagship. The commander's breath caught in his throat. He felt the weight of thousands of years of arrogance pressing down on him. For the first time in his life, he whispered, not as a leader, not as a warrior, but as prey. No, not us. The human ship pulsed. Its glow filled the screen. The Valkyrie flagship shook as the human vessel turned its glowing eye upon it. Every officer froze, waiting for the final strike. But the beam did not come. Instead, the human ship went still. Its blue lines dimmed for a moment, as if it was watching, studying, almost curious. The silence inside the alien command chamber was heavier than iron. Soldiers held their breath. Officers waited for the commander to speak. But Commander Vaya said nothing. For the first time, he had no words. And then, the voice returned. Do you want to know why? The sound rolled through every alien ship, calm but filled with something far more dangerous than anger. It was certainty. The Valkyrie listened. They had no choice. The human voice continued. You thought this was an accident. A weak ship lost in the dark. But this was a design. A plan. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. The voice spoke again, cold and patient. For centuries, the galaxy mocked humans. Too fragile. Too slow. Too foolish to survive among empires. But humans watched. Humans listened. And humans learned. The alien commander growled low in his throat, trying to find his strength again. Lies. Humans cannot build such a weapon. They lack the knowledge. They lack the power. The voice laughed softly. It was not cruel, but it was worse than cruelty. It was pity. You are correct. Alone, humans could not create this ship. But they did not work alone. On the alien screens, the image of the human vessel shifted. Glowing blue patterns crawled across its hull, symbols no Valkyrie database could recognize. Strange curves, strange shapes, as if dozens of different technologies had been woven together. One officer gasped. That is not human. Those are alien systems. Yes, the voice replied. Every time the galaxy tried to conquer humans, they left pieces behind. Broken weapons. Fallen ships. Fragments of power. Humans collected them. Studied them. Built something new. The realization spread like poison through the fleet. Humans had not just built a ship. They had built a predator designed to counter everything the galaxy had ever created. The voice grew colder. We took your arrogance. Your weapons. Your shields. Your pride. And we made them ours. We made them better. A silence followed, sharp and merciless. The aliens felt it dig into their bones. For centuries, they had laughed. For centuries, they had mocked. But all along, the humans had been preparing. Commander Vaya hissed through his teeth. Why reveal this? Why not simply destroy us? The human voice did not hesitate. Because fear tastes better after laughter. The word struck harder than any weapon. On the screen, the human vessel's lights brightened again, glowing like fire under its skin. It was no longer the mask of an old ship. Now it looked alive, reborn from the shadows of every war the galaxy had ever fought. The voice spoke one last time, calm but final. We are not here to beg for respect. We are here to end the joke. The age of mocking humans is over. The aliens stared in silence. None dared speak. For the first time, the Valkyrie understood the truth. The humans were not weak. They had never been weak. They had been patient. And patience was the deadliest weapon of all.